Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. Today we continue with a decluttering series for 2023. So in today's episode of decluttering series, we are digging into my face powders. This is my one portion of face powders. Primarily here I have some pressed powders and loose powders of both high-end and more affordable ones. So we're gonna go through this collection. I do have a plan to reorganize some things. I also have these two containers with my powder foundations, and I will also try to go through these and declutter a few. Once we get to the powder foundations, I will not be unfortunately going through deep details about these products because just so many. It would probably be another completely separate video if I would do that. However, I have done two completely separate videos where I did the roundup of the best and worst powder foundation. In one video, I talked about all my affordable products, and then the second video covers all my high-end powder foundations in detail. So I do have those videos available to you if you like to really learn about all the insides of powder foundations, how I apply them, the brushes that I use, which ones are best, which ones are worst, and I will have those videos linked for you in the description box for you. However, I will still go through these today and declutter some, and I will post a timestamp in this video if you want to specifically move to this section. I also wanted to say that I have these three products here. They are currently in my project pan. I have this loose powder from Milani that I have a little bit of left. Then I have this pressed powder from Bare Minerals that I'm currently working on. And this is my Physicians Formula powder that, again, I'm trying to finish in 2023. So these products, I just wanted to show you that I do have them. They are currently still here in my beauty room and they are a part of my collection. However, they are on the verge, okay, of being finished. I am working through them. I'm trying to finish them up and be done with them. If you already saw my previous decluttering episodes, I started a little bit a different system. So I have two baskets here. This basket would have all my decluttered items, and this basket is going to be something that I want to finish and use up fully in 2024. This is something I'm going to be focusing on in the new year. So if you're new here, hello, my name is Eve and I love all things beauty. Here on my channel, I talk about all things beauty and lifestyle, and I upload new videos every week. That sounds interesting to you. I hope you enjoy this video and subscribe to my channel if you're not yet a subscriber. And now without further ado, let's dive into the powder declutter. All right, guys, I'm going to start from this area right here because on this side, I have all my affordable powders, and let's get right into them. So the first one out is the one from Pupa. This is a beautiful finishing, a little bit of glowy finishing powder. The Pupa Milano is a Italian beauty brand that is not necessarily available in US. However, I purchased it when I was traveling. This is a very, very beautiful finishing powder. I do enjoy this, and unfortunately, I wish I would have more access to this brand. This is a beautiful formula. I'm going to keep it. So this powder right here is from Physicians Formula. This is a finishing powder. I am going to put this in the project use up for 2024. I generally enjoy complexion products from Physicians Formula. I have all their face palettes, but none of the face palettes are in this video. I will be going through them in a different video, you guys. So stay tuned for that. I enjoy this finishing powder. I think it's lovely, but I will put this in my project use up for 2024 because I just do not like this bulky single packaging from Physicians Formula. They really need to do something about it. Like, their products are nice, but this is so bulky and outdated. So this next powder right here is from Catrice. This is all matte plus shine control powder. I purchased this in Europe when I was traveling, and unfortunately, as you can see, the packaging broke. This product is also not available in the United States, so it really makes no sense for me to keep this. And I've already told you guys in one of my recent videos that I am done with bad packaging. I no longer want to deal with this. It's about time that while brands are raising their prices on everything by good amount, they also start thinking about improving their very, very cheap packaging, so at least it lasts you while you're using the product. So I'm definitely done with this. This is another powder from Catrice. It's called Poreless Perfection powder in the universal shade. My powder was shattered and I had to repress it, but I'll tell you, this is an excellent formula, and the packaging, by the way, is really nice and sturdy. Why can't we have this packaging on the other powder? That's my question. So long story short, this is a beautiful powder that gives you a little bit luminosity. However, it also is very long wearing. I like to set my more of natural and matte formulas, like matte liquid foundations, with this powder because it just gives me that beautiful, very subtle glow from within type of look. And I just absolutely love this. I wish I could repurchase this, but I'm going to keep this and I'm going to use the very last drop of it because this is fantastic. For those of you who love the Dior powder no powder, I think this is a better option. This is a better version of that powder, even though I do have the Dior here in my stash. We'll get to that in just a moment, but I absolutely love this. This is just such a high quality and beautiful product. The next one up is CoverGirl Clean Fresh powder. This is in the shade translucent. This is actually a really nice powder. It has a also very, very long shelf life. I think it's like 36 months or something like that. It's gonna last you like for 2.5 years. So this is currently my favorite retouching powder. I've talked about this powder many times on my channel. This usually lives in my purse, in my little pouch, because this is really excellent retouching powder. That's not powdery, doesn't give you flashbacks, really, really good quality. So this next one right here, Perfect Finish powder from NOMAD Cosmetics. So the shade is Clear. It's an okay powder to my opinion. I have used this, as you can see, a good amount. I generally use a lot of powders, guys. I am a combo oily skin. I have more visible pores on the T-zone. I use powder initially when I do my makeup to set my makeup, and then I always use some type of retouching powders throughout the day. So as a combo oily skin, that's why my collection is so big. It explains itself, but I go through powders pretty quickly. If you ever watch my empties, you'll probably see how many powders I go through. So yeah, this powder to my opinion is okay. I will put this in my project use up for 2024. So in this section, I have some of my loose powders and this one here too. So this is a Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer, but Reserve Your Cabana shade. So the shade is called Reserve Your Cabana. This is just such a light shade. Obviously, it's not a bronzer. This has a little bit of glowiness to it. This is actually really pretty, kind of like a finishing powder with a little bit of glow. And I used to use this around my eyes, like set my eyes. So I actually need to get on the bottom of this and start using it a little bit more, especially now that it's a little bit cooler. It's not completely cool yet in Florida, but it starts cooling down, and I think I can take advantage of this powder a little bit more. So I'm going to put this in a project use up. Now let's get into my loose affordable powders. This first one right here is by Juvia's Place. This one is in the shade White Sands. This powder has a little bit thicker formula, and it's pretty good long wearing, very much of a setting powder for your complexion. I really enjoy it, but the thing about this powder is that if you leave it on your skin for too long, it actually does not blend after that. It would leave the line on your face. So if you're trying to like bake it, for example, you need to remove it off of your face like really fast. Otherwise, it would just leave the line. And whenever I use it, I just know of that. I always keep it in mind. So I would apply it and like dust it off right away. I'm going to keep this powder, but I'm going to put this in my project use up. So this next one is a Conceal Plus Perfect Blur Out Powder from Milani. This is a new one that they launched earlier this year. And I just want to say that this powder is super fine, super fine. It's like air. It's so thin. Overall, the powder is all right. So I am going to put this in a project use up too, because I am not like the biggest fan of this powder, but it's all right. This next one is Halo Glow Setting Powder from e.l.f. I got mine in a shade Light. So this is a pretty good powder, but the funny part about this product is that it's called Halo Glow, and I don't see any glow, you guys. I don't see any glow. This is a really nice like matte formula to my opinion, but I'm going to keep this. This is a really nice texture, and it is pretty long wearing. It sets my makeup really well. So I enjoy this. I'm going to keep it. So this next one is a Photo Focus Translucent Powder from Wet n Wild. I really like this powder. I really like this powder, you guys. This is a very, very nice powder. I really like how large the container is. I am definitely going to be keeping this one. So here, all the powders now fit into a one compartment. And from this area, I decluttered one, and I am putting 5 powders into my project use up. Now let's get into this area where I have my high-end powders. So let's start from this area right here. So the first one up is a Clinique powder. It's called Stay Matte Universal Blotting Powder. And this looks white, as you can see, but it's very firmly pressed. So it's very nice retouching and mattifying powder. I really like it because it's not powdery, and it would also last you for a long time because this is so firmly pressed. I really like Clinique products. If you've been here on my channel, you know I really like Clinique products, especially their complexion products, very, very much. So this is definitely staying. So the next one is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. I got mine in the shade One Fair. So I do have a pan going on here already. This is a powder that I think it's a little bit overrated to my opinion. This is just a powder that to me, it is a finishing powder. It doesn't really do much to my skin. I'm going to keep this powder, but the reason you see a pan here, that's another thing that I wanted to mention, is that this powder goes really fast. This pan happened really fast for me when I started using this powder. And this is a finishing powder. It's not a setting powder where you would need a little bit more of it. I just feel like that went down really fast. But nevertheless, I'm just going to hold on for this right now, put it back here in the storage. So the next one is Oh, this is another affordable powder, you guys. I need to recalculate my numbers. Catrice Prime and Fine Mattifying Powder, waterproof, transparent formula. This is a very, very lovely retouching powder that I use quite often. Has a really nice mirror, very nice sturdy packaging. This is available on Catrice's American website, so I'm gonna put this here. So this powder next is by House Labs. This is called Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder. I really enjoy the packaging. It's a little bit bulky, but it's nice and light. It's like light plastic, but you have a sifter here like that. So I just want to say that this powder is really lovely. I like to use it around my eyes. I did talk a little bit more in details about this powder in my video where I did like application and speeder reviews. I just say that you do not really get too much product here and it's considerably expensive. If you are interested in this, just look into that information a little bit closer. That's just my advice, but generally it is a really nice quality. For me, this powder is a good around eyes and retouching powder. It's definitely not a setting powder for me, but it's a really good quality. So this next one is from Uomo Beauty. This is called Trip and Smooth Powder and I got mine in a shade Light. This is the powder that nobody talks about and I do not know why. This is incredible. Definitely super messy, like most loose powders are, but this is like extremely messy. I gotta do something about this. This is disgusting. This is a really cool concept, like how the packaging is made. All the powder is supposed to sit here, in this circle, and then you twist it and the powder would come. Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. And it was just supposed to come out there from the bottom. But this powder is super fine, but also very mattifying and super long lasting. Guys, when I tell you nothing budges when I have this on my face, so I have to put this back on a counter and just clean this mess because if I put it back like now, everything's gonna be covered with powder. So I'm just gonna put it on side, but I'm definitely keeping this powder. So now let's get here. This is a one from MAC. It's called Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. When I apply this, I almost get this like white cast. I don't know why. It didn't used to do that from what I remember. I actually use this powder quite a little bit when I got it, but I feel like maybe the texture changed. And now when I used it just recently and I felt like I had this like light, I don't know, like dust on my face. So I'm going to declutter this. I really think that this is just expired. Plus I do have this one from Pupa. They're just pretty much doing the same thing. And I also recently got a new face palette from Hourglass that has two beautiful finishing powders there. So I think I'm good. Plus like with my combo oily skin, I don't really use finishing powders too much. So I'm going to declutter this. So this next one is All Nighter from Urban Decay. Formula is really, really good. It says waterproof setting powder, and it is truly that, what it says it is. It is a waterproof setting powder. It sets your complexion really well. It is truly long wearing. It has a nice smoothing effect. So I'm just gonna put this here maybe. This next one right here is something that I've already mentioned just earlier, Dior Powder No Powder. I got mine in a shade 1N, 1 Neutral. This powder was discontinued and I actually bought this because of Samantha March. I'll tell you, this powder does nothing for me. Unfortunately, I kind of consider this money being wasted. In a way, this is a good quality for what it is, but I just feel like it's not an ideal powder for me because it is more of like that finishing powder. Like I was talking about the Catrice formula earlier, but that Catrice one is actually sets my makeup. That one actually sets my makeup. This one doesn't. It just kind of gives me that finishing, glowing, something, but it does not help my makeup last. And I will be putting this in the Project Use Up. This next one is from LYS Beauty. This is Triple Fix Translucent Setting Powder. I got mine in a shade Resilient. It's a little bit thicker formula, but I really like how it looks on skin. I do have like a really nice dip going on in this powder. I'm definitely keeping this one. Okay, so I think we're done with like pressed powders here, and now let's get to loose ones. So this is Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder from Too Faced. This would set your makeup in stone. This is so awesome. This is the shade Translucent. I love this powder so much. One of the best ones that I have in my collection. Perfect for my oily skin. Now let's get to this area, Anastasia Beverly Hills one. This one is in the shade Translucent. This kind of like that white powder right here. I'll tell you what, I have used it just recently and I found that this powder was drying on my skin. So I did not like that feeling at all. So I'm going to be decluttering this. The powder that is white that I'm going to be keeping is this one from Dermablend Loose Setting Powder. I got mine in a shade Original. This is a really nice brightening powder that is good for baking and it's not drying. I really like this. This next one is from Cover FX, a Perfect Setting Powder in the shade Translucent again. This is a really, really good setting powder. That's all I have to say. So I'm going to put this in the Project Use Up. So this next one here is Too Faced Do You. This is a translucent radiant pearl finishing powder. It's kind of like that highlighting powder almost. And I just feel like it should be with my highlighters. I don't know why I kept it here, but this was just so beautiful. I really like the effect of this powder. I'm going to keep this. I don't really have too many of powders like this in my collection. It has a very beautiful finish, like pearlescent, but with a pink shift, and it smells like watermelon. I'm going to keep it. So let's get to this section right here. This is a MAC powder, extra light shade Studio Fix Perfecting Powder. Excellent formula. Excellent, absolute excellent formula. This is one of the powders that sets my makeup really well, and I don't have to worry about it going anywhere throughout the day. So this is a powder that I like to reach when I need like a complexion that lasts the entire time. This is also a really nice matte finish to this. I really enjoy this, definitely keeping. So this next one is Peach Perfect from Too Faced. I think this powder is still available in some places. A shade translucent here. This is a super matte powder. This is probably the most matte, long wearing powder that I have in my collection. I really like what it does to my skin. I'm definitely keeping this one. Another one, Holy Grail Huda Beauty setting powder. This is in the shade Cupcake. I really love this. Talked about this powder a million times. I'm definitely keeping. Not that I need any more powders, but I'm really tempted to purchase the one with a pink shade. So let me know if you've tried that one. So this one is from One Size Beauty. I have a mini size here. This is in the shade Translucent. I really like this powder. This is a little bit more of a thicker formula. It has a little bit thicker texture to this powder. It reminds me of the Laura Mercier original powder. It has a little bit of thickness. However, super long wearing, sweat and humidity resistant. It is a little bit brightening, so you can bake and like highlight your face with this if you like the contouring business. I really enjoy this. This is a really high quality powder. Also is blurring. I definitely am considering eventually repurchasing this in the full size. I'm definitely keeping this one. And then this is another mini size that I have here from Natasha, the Silk Powder. I had mine in a shade, I don't even know what shade it is, but it doesn't even matter because this formula is horrendous. It's so bad. It just makes my skin look like I'm a reptile. It's horrible. I could not wait for this decluttering video so I could actually literally put this into trash. It is such a bad quality. So I definitely need to do a little bit of cleaning here before I reorganize. So from my high-end powders, I decluttered 3, and then I will be putting 2 into my project use up. So I'm gonna go one drawer at a time, and here I have Makeup Forever new powder foundation. I have a review video on this product if you were interested to look into it. This is a really nice formula. I'm keeping it. Fenty Beauty powder foundation, shade 170. I enjoy this formula. It's lovely. I am going to keep that. So this is a MAC Studio Fix powder foundation. I had mine in the shade NC15, and I will tell you that this is a little bit too bright for me, so I really can't use it as a powder foundation all over my face because, well, maybe I could use it now for Halloween because it literally makes me look like Casper, but no, I'm going to be decluttering this. This next powder foundation is called Bye Bye Powder Foundation from NOMAD Cosmetics. I got mine in a shade Light. This is what it looks like. Has a little bit of a cooler undertone here. I really enjoy this. This is a really high quality product, but it has been discontinued, so I am going to put this in a project use up. I also really like my One Size Beauty. I've spoken about this product many times. It is absolutely beautiful, and it matches my skin tone really well. Light to natural, or N. Neutral, natural. So this is the one that's definitely going to stay. This one is another product that is definitely going to stay. I really like this. This is a Shape Tape powder foundation from Tarte, and I got mine in shade 22 and light neutral. This is a beautiful formula, also very unique, that applies like powder foundation, but then in a few hours you literally cannot tell that you had a powder product on you. It just melts into your skin so beautifully, and it looks like you applied liquid product. It's stunning. This next one is a Clinique Almost Powder Makeup SPF 1801 Fair shade. I absolutely love this, and you can see I have a baby pan there. I'm definitely keeping this. Like I said, I really like my Clinique products, you guys. I wasn't making that up. Celebration Foundation Illumination from NOMAD Cosmetics gives me just the most gorgeous glow, but this is something that doesn't last on my skin because it is a little bit too glowy, a little bit too hydrating. It looks gorgeous initially upon application, but just does not last. I could definitely use this like for videos, just if I need to film something, have it on my face. It looks beautiful for like photography or videos. It just gives you the most beautiful coverage and luminosity to your skin, but unfortunately for my oily combination skin type, it's just not a long wearing formula. I'm gonna put this in a project use up. I guess I can definitely use it in my videos or for dinner dates, etc. Just, you know, few hours span that would do it. So Celebration Foundation from NOMAD Cosmetics, this one is definitely the one that's going to stay. This is just one of the best powder foundations to my opinion. Shade Light for me, very good shade match. Also for me, Gorgeous, gorgeous foundation, definitely staying. This one I really like, and I also have a backup of this foundation. This is one from Pure. I got one in the shade Light Porcelain. I really like this. I also have a pan going on here. Because I already have a backup of this, I am going to put this one in the Project Use Up. This is a beautiful formula that has a little bit of luminosity to it. I like to use this as a finishing powder, or more so around my eyes when I need to set my eye area. This has a little bit of brightness to it. It just looks really, really beautiful around eyes. So my ideal goal would be to either put all my powder foundations together with my regular powders, or condense all my powder foundations in one of these drawers. So now let's get into this container here. This actually has been damaged. I don't even know what I did. I really don't know what I did, but I've had this organizer for quite some time. If I would see one around, I think I purchased this like TJ Maxx or Marshall's, one of those. If I would see a new one next time I'm there, I would definitely replace it. Anyway, my affordable powder foundations. Let's just start from these two right here. One's from Ulta Beauty Adjustable Coverage Foundation. I have two of them. I really like this formula. So this one is the shade Warm Fair, Fair Warm, and Fair Neutral. So I will tell you one thing. The shade descriptions, oh my God, they look like I probably should not hold them like this. Yeah, bad idea. So let's just hold them like this. I really like this formula. Like I said, the packaging is unattractive, but both of these powders I've repurchased multiple times, and I was very happy to find shades that actually work for me really, really well. This is the shade, the lighter one, the Fair Warm. I use it for my T-zone and to set around my eyes. This is a powder foundation. However, it has a beautiful softness. It gives you a smoothing effect, and it is brightening. So I would use it on the center of my face, around my eyes, and this formula does not feel heavy around eyes. I really, really like it. You know, hence the pan. The pan speaks for itself. And this shade I use all over my face. So I reach for these quite often, but I'm going to put them in a Project Use Up because there's just already a large pan going on here. And yeah, I'm going to continue loving on these. So this next one right here is from Juvia's Place. This was launched in 2023. I got mine in the shade Catania. This is a fabulous formula. Very thin, very low wearing, smoothing, mattifying, spot on gorgeous formula. I'm definitely keeping. Aqua Assurance from J Cat Compact Foundation. I got mine in the shade Porcelain. This is a very, very bright shade for me. I also do not really enjoy this formula too much. Yeah, no. If you want to see more details about any of these guys, just please check out my roundup video where I did like detailed reviews on every single powder foundation that I have here. So no, this is going to be a declutter. The next powder foundation that I have here is Infallible from L'Oreal. This is in the shade 120 Vanilla. This is a little bit, again, darker than my fairest self. I would need to be tan for the shade, but I really like the formula. This is my newer one from Sephora. This is their newer launch. I got mine in shade 15N. This is a matte powder foundation. This is a shade that is like my light tan shade. Okay, I use this in summer and I enjoy this. This is really pretty. I really like this foundation. It says it is a matte formula, but it applies like a soft matte, but then after a while, like in a few hours, it starts becoming a little bit more glowy, like a little bit more hydrating. So I didn't see that anywhere in description, but I definitely enjoy the formula. It wears really beautiful on skin. This next one is a Physicians Formula, the Healthy Powder. I got mine in the shade LC1. This is a really beautiful powder for me, for my palest self. This is a stunning, stunning formula, but this powder has been around for a long time, and if I'm not mistaken, this has been discontinued. You might still see it somewhere maybe in Walmart, maybe in Walgreens. I don't know, maybe you can catch this in some places still, but it's actually a shame that they discontinued this because this used to be like my favorite one and only powder that I used to use, but I'm going to put this in my Project Use Up. Alpha Camo Powder Foundation. I got mine in the shade Fair 150C. I initially purchased it and it was a wrong shade, and then I purchased this one and this was kind of okay, but I do not enjoy this formula. I do not, so I'm going to declutter this. And this one is also the newer one to 2023, Super Stay from Maybelline. I got mine in the shade 220. I enjoy this formula, but initially when you apply it, it looks a little bit more powdery. So I need to set this with a setting spray just to melt that powderiness down. But other than that, I really enjoy this. So I am only keeping technically these 4 in the storage. And now let's see what I am decluttering. This is the basket that I am decluttering, and these are the products that I am putting into my Project Use Up for 2024. It seems like it's a lot, but I will do my best of trying to finish them all up. I go through powders considerably fast. I definitely have a really big collection of powders. I am a combination oily skin. I like to test powders, but for the time being, I will not be purchasing. Hopefully I will not be purchasing anymore. It's just always so hard for me to hold back when the new powder launches. I'm always so tempted to try a new powder. However, I have the project cut out for me here. Now I actually need to reorganize this a little bit and clean up because there's powder everywhere. And then I'm going to show you my final result. Okay guys, this is the aftermath. So I organized all my powders. So here in this small section, I have all my affordable powders, my loose powders, my setting powders, my pressed powders, my retouching, my glowing, everything fits here. This whole entire row are just all setting powders. Primarily they're loose, and I just put this Urban Decay here. And here are my finishing powders and my retouching powders. So when it's like this organized, it makes a lot of sense to me because I see how many in each category of powders I have. So in these two sections, I actually fit all my powder foundations. They are a little bit mixed up here with a higher end because I only put 4 affordable ones and everything else is high end, but I really love that everything fits in one of my powder drawer. So I will wrap up my video here. I know it was quite a long one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, questions, leave them in the comment section below for me. I would love to chat with you there. If you enjoyed this video, give this a big thumb up. And if you're not yet a subscriber, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next videos. Bye.